Hi, I'm Nate Hoffman. I'm the Director of National Sales with SwipeServe. I wanted to talk a little bit about your industry, the law practice and legal profession as a whole, and how that relates to merchant services. It's probably something you don't think much about. You may not even take credit cards or debit cards right now, but I think this is really important because, let's face it, you're not going to do work unless you get paid. More importantly, in your industry, you have what I call a collection problem. I think the industry going information is about 70% of all billable hours, or 70% of the clients that you have billable hours with don't pay their last bill. And that can range anywhere from, 5 to 15% of the total overall billing that you had for that particular business or client. So I want you to help recapture that, but I want to talk a little bit about how merchant processing works if you don't actually accept it now. So it's pretty simple. You got to have a business account. You got to be a reasonable business. You are, but what you pay for a credit card varies greatly. It's not a heavily regulated industry. It probably should be. Maybe you'll take that challenge up. But let's talk a little bit about what to expect. Most of the people that you talk to, if you go into a big block store and they offer it, or you see an advertisement in the back of a magazine, they talk about a flat rate and so many cents per transaction. And I can tell you right off the bat, if you get one of those, you're paying too much. And the reason why you're paying too much is it's a hedge. If you think about it, there are about 7,000 different types of credit cards and debit cards that have rewards or not rewards, or really great rewards, or American Express, which is even more expensive. And when you take into consideration the fraud risk, and each card is rated differently by interchange, and more importantly, the actual way that you capture that transaction, whether it's over the internet, over the phone, or swiping it in person and getting a signature, all of those are different risk variables. When you add all that risk up, the more risk that you take, the higher your rate's going to be. So in order for someone to give you a flat discount rate, that means that they have to guess that, hey, they're going to lose on those American Express cards transactions, and they're going to lose on heavy reward transactions that are for miles, but they're going to win heavy on debit cards, which means you're paying way too much. And banks never lose. And so that being said, you're going to pay too much. We have a much better option at SwipeServe. It's our Swipe Save plan, and essentially all we do is we just take the actual physical transaction cost each time one comes through, and we have a small margin. So since we're not in fear of ever losing money on a transaction, we can pass on that savings to you. We don't have to guess or over extend on a hedge and you lose. More importantly, most people in this industry are going to lock you up into a long contract because they know they're making a lot of money off of you. What I love about America is the free economy, and I think that everyone should be able to benefit from that. So we're month to month. The only time you wouldn't be month to month with us would be a situation where maybe we buy your equipment for you, or if we bought you out of a termination, fee from a current provider that you're with. And depending on your volume, we do offer that. We have a whole host of different types of plans, but I want to talk to you specifically about some of the key components that will benefit you. We talked a little bit about having this flat price versus a variable price with a small margin. You want that variable price. You will always win provided the margin is low. But you may be familiar as a lawyer with the Durbin Act, and that's really important. Congress limited how much can be charged on a debit card transaction. But if you're in one of those contracts and you're paying a flat rate, I can promise you that savings is not being passed on to you. It is being passed on to your provider, and they love Congress for it. So you should be shopping right now. And you should be looking at different types of plans just because of that simple law. But let's talk a little bit about also what those competitors are going to do. They're going to give you reprogrammable equipment, meaning that if you were to ever leave them, you can't take your equipment with you. It's useless. It's proprietary. Great for them, bad for you. Well, you know what? I want to reprogram your equipment if it's at all possible. If not, I prefer that you buy the equipment. We really don't mark it up, although most people are somewhere between 200 and 300% markup. And lastly, I'll lease it to you. I don't know, they range anywhere from $25 to $35 a month. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You're going to pay 5 times more than what that equipment actually costs. So just buy it outright, save some money, no matter who you use, okay? Why that's important is if you're unhappy with us being month to month, you can leave. If you're unhappy with our pricing, you can leave. Hey, guess what? You don't have to buy your equipment over again when you start with a new company. They can reprogram. If they don't offer to reprogram it for you and sell you equipment, why is that? So I want to save you some money. Now, in the legal profession, you actually have the ability to sign a contract with people up front. You collect a retainer, and you have a contract for your services. You also have the ability, and you're a lawyer, you know how to write these things up, a contract that gives you the ability to actually run someone's debit card or credit card, even when they're not in your presence, for your remaining balance, as you progress bill. And you should do that. We've had some law firms that are talking about giving a 10% discount to clients that sign up for that service. It just means that they don't have to spend a whole lot of time on collection efforts, or just say, oh, forget it, we're going to lose this money. So clearly they're in the 15% or greater category of loss because there is a cost of running the card over the internet or over the phone for that matter. But let's talk about retainers. Retainers are special. You need to collect that money up front before you do any work. If someone was to dispute that charge, they would win. And the reason why they'd win is because you actually haven't done the work yet. So technically they'd get their money back. Well, I don't want to see that happen. So we offer another program, which is our check guarantee. So collect your retainer from your client with a check. And guess what? As long as it's presented in person, we can use a debit card rate, somewhere under 1.5%, right around that range, depending on your business. And guess that check is actually going to be guaranteed. So regardless of the size of that check, those total proceeds will be deposited into your account. If that check is bad, it's on our bank and on us to go get the money back, not you. Now that ought to save you some time, and I'm sure that billable hours and overhead in your office is not necessarily a cheap thing. So anyway that we can help you with that, we'd love to do that. Also, I want to talk a little bit about rapid advance. Although most law practices typically don't need to get a loan from a bank, or they have pretty good relationships with the bank, let's face it, getting money from a bank is pretty much a painful experience now. It's not in the best interest of banks to lend money out. They can say what they want, but their actions speak differently. I'm not saying that you need to take a loan from us, but we can make it a much simpler process. You don't have to actually provide every partner's ownership and complicated returns. For the most part, we know what your sales volume is with a credit card. And because of that, we can use that as collateral because we actually have the ability to debit against that. So that's available, and that can help you when, I don't know, maybe a lot of the partners or a lot of people take the month of December off. And I just want to make this perfectly clear. This is great for all types of law practices but one. Bankruptcy is not going to work with credit cards, okay? I think you probably know that if you're a bankruptcy attorney. However, you could use the check guarantee program, and we'd love to help you with that with all those transactions. So essentially that you're not having to go collect off of people that are discharging debts. So that could be really, really a good opportunity for you. Let's talk a little bit about some of the requirements that are going to be placed on you from the IRS. You already know that you have to issue 1099s to businesses that give you business pretty regularly. This might not be for a personal matter, but for a business, if they spend more than $600 with you in a calendar year, you're going to have to issue a 1099. Kind of sucks. It's a pain in the butt, and I'm sure you're spending a lot of money with accountants as it is. So we developed a piece of software that basically is looking at credit cards that come in. They match it with the name. They look at all the sales that come in, but you may actually refund someone. What if you were to put back on someone's card some of the retainer funds because you didn't use it all? Well, now you're able to do a net 1099. So I think that might be really helpful to you. I think we talked a little bit about all the things that are happening in the industry. I just want you to know some of the things that we're doing to keep our costs down. I don't think that you're particularly interested in putting a bunch of salespeople's kids through college with high commissions. So we've eliminated that. We don't have commissioned salespeople. Instead, we do expect you to have some semblance of knowledge of how to use the internet. We make it really easy for you to sign up. so that we can take all of the proceeds that we are receiving and put it where we think that counts most for you, and that's customer service. So basically we have a 24-hour, 7 days a week support line where you can talk to someone from anywhere from, what's this charge on my statement to, I don't know, when is my funds availability on a transaction, or hey, I got a charge back, how do I represent that? Whatever those questions are, you can typically reach a live agent in less than 2 minutes. And we think that that service is unparalleled in the industry, and we want to offer that to you and pass that savings on. So hopefully you're excited about the prospects of taking credit cards or guaranteeing checks in your industry if you're not doing so. And if you are doing so, we hope that you will certainly give us the opportunity to show you how to save a lot of money. But the most important thing that most people aren't concerned about is how can we help you make more money. And you'll never see that in our industry. So we'd like to make you one of our revenue partners. Since you are a sphere of influence, people hopefully trust you. Businesses trust you to certainly do the most important things for them. Their legal documents to protect them from future problems. We would like to say, if you want to push down to the 20% of your clients that are most loyal to you, that do 80% of your volume, we would really appreciate that. Turn them on to us. Share this video. Let them know about how we do things. And if you do, we'll give you a 10% residual of our net proceeds. Because let's face it, we're not spending the money on commission sales people. We are hoping that you will work with us, and by doing so, that savings gets passed on to you, and we would be more than honored to have you as a revenue share partner. So I wanted to share that with you. We hope that you'll be one of our revenue share partners, but more importantly, we hope that we use our service because we know that we will save you money, we will help you make more money, and it'll be a great partnership. Have a great day.